exactly.
Now,
So
Ricky Johnson grew up in the neighborhood that I was raised in before I went to Broad Ripple.
did he go to Broad Ripple?
No, he went to George Washington High School, the George Washington Continentals.
All right. Home of George McGinnis.
George McGinnis, Billy Keller, Steve Downing. Man, what a
Yeah.
woo.
God, that McGinnis team, probably one of the greatest ones ever. Didn't they go undefeated, 31-0?
Something like that. And what was that, 69? I
Yeah,
think that was
amazing.
69. But that guy could have played football too. Man, what a, and I feel bad for him because he could have made so much more money had he went to the NBA first rather than, the ABA, although, money in
Yeah.
his pocket then was more money than his family had in their pocket before then.
Yeah. Did you know him?
I've interviewed Big Mac, great guy. It was probably one of my first 20 interviews, and was nervous as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, you've got a litany of interviews of just who's who of basketball. It's amazing the contacts you have.
Well, it's like I say in all my interviews, it's kind of like 6 degrees of separation because, for example, Rick Mount was working for Imro Sporting Goods in Indianapolis off of 62nd Street. And he would supply our athletic supplies at Broad Ripple High School. And he came into the athletic director's office one day, and I was working for the athletic director during periods instead of a study hall. And the athletic director was Gene Ring, who played under Coach John Wooden at South Bend Central, played underneath Branch McCracken at Indiana University, and then he ended up at Broad Ripple coaching and then taking over the being athletic director. I think 64, 65, he took that over. But okay, so back, I digress. But he came in, and my dad hated sports, absolutely hated sports. But he would tell me about going and drinking beer at the state fairgrounds and seeing this guy Rick Mount, shot after shot after shot go in. And so and I'm like, oh, you must be the Rick. And I took everything in like a sponge just because I sucked at basketball. So I got to sit and take it all in. So, I'm glad I started taking it in when I did. But that's and back to what you were saying, the list of interviews that I've had, but it's been fun. But first, hold on.
Okay.
This guy ain't walking back through the door at IU, right?
No.
He ain't walking back in the door. So with that being said, will that guy
I can't read.
Door? That's Steve Alford.
Okay. Possibly. He's definitely my top 5. But I like what you said today. I want to go with my heart. I think Woodson would be fantastic.
Yeah. I'm assuming. So he graduated in 76.
70, he was a senior, 76, right?
76, right. So he would be, man, I don't know if he's too comfortable, because he'll be getting the NBA pension. He'll be getting a coach's pension. I don't know if he's kind of like, I've saved up enough money. I don't need to go prove myself or, I'd like to be a fly on the wall though. Wouldn't you?
You know what, Billy, I think they got to get somebody homegrown, bring in somebody that's bleeds out Hoosier red, that's connected with the program. I think that's what we need to really kickstart it again. Didn't Mike Woodson go to Broad Ripple?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And Steve Alford, on the other end of the shtick, scored 57 against us in the 1983 semi-state. So, it's kind of a win-win situation.
Yeah. What year did you graduate Broad Ripple?
86.
86? Okay.
Yeah.
And a little bit older than you.
Marshall Williams. Yeah. Covington High School, right?
Correct. But I didn't graduate from there.
Right. You went out to California and graduated in Los Angeles.
Yeah. From Palisades High, where my backcourt mate was a guy named Chip Engelland. And that year he led the city in scoring 30 points a game. We had a great team. And he went to Duke. He played 4 years at Duke. He was captain of the team his senior year. And he's the shooting coach of the San Antonio Spurs.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's renowned in the NBA as the shot doctor. He helped Grant Hill and Kawhi and a lot of others. But it's too bad we're in this COVID situation, because whenever the Spurs come to town, I sit front row.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Can he also cut hair, like cut Pop's hair? Because it's getting way too long. I mean, that's looking Grizzly Adams type stuff.
Looking a little shabby there, isn't it? You know, when I moved to California, my sophomore year, the guys I played with in Indiana, in Palisades, knew about Dale because he was in Street and Smith's record book for 33 straight field goals made.
Oh, wow.
So they always used to tease me about being, you know, the Indiana Hick. And then, so I got to play with Dale, who became an all-star. Then I played with Chip, who was all city. So I played with two great players there for my high school career.
What took you from Indiana to California?
My parents were divorced. And I just, you know, I went to California one summer, Billy, and I was there in that beach watching those girls play volleyball in their dolphin shorts. I said, No, I was in not a good situation either with my stepmom. It was a pretty rough situation. My mom and my dad, and my stepmom. So, and my sister still lived in California. She was with my mom. So that kind of hurt, being separated. So, so sophomore year, I moved to Cali.
Well, take me back a little bit though. Before in Covington, Indiana, where did you live? Where were you born at in Indiana?
I was born in Danville, Illinois.
Okay.
Born in Danville, Illinois. Then we lived in Attica.
The Ramblers?
The Red Ramblers. Yeah, exactly. Had some great teams in the 60s and 67, 60. Matter of fact, 68, they got all the way to the semi-state. Had some great teams. And when I was a kid, I went to the greatest basketball game I ever saw in high school, Rossville and Attica. Overtime in 1969. Amazing game. Amazing game.
The Hornets and Ramblers.
No, exactly. The Hornets and the Ramblers. And then my parents divorced, and I moved to Virginia with my mom for fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade. And then I moved back with my dad to Covington. He was the county prosecutor in Fountain County. So he had moved from Attica to Covington, where he graduated from. And then sophomore year, moved to California.
We're at in Virginia.
Annandale.
Somewhere outside of Charlottesville?
Fairfax County.
Oh, okay.
Right, Alexandria. What's interesting there is when I lived in Annandale was during the whole T.C. Williams thing. So, you know, when I lived in Annandale, we played T.C. Williams in football. You know, I was just a kid, but I remember them being, desegregating the school and what an awesome team they had and all that. And then, years later, the movie comes out, Remember the Titans. I go, hey, I lived that. I knew all about that.
That's one of those movies that if you're flipping through channels, if we even flip through channels anymore, that, it's like Forrest Gump to me, or Blue Chips or Glory Road or Hoosiers. You stop on it and you watch it.
Exactly. And there's certain scenes I love about each of those movies that you just mentioned. They're just, stand out to me. I was just thinking of Blue Chips today. What a great movie that is. I love that scene when when Nick Nolte's out recruiting Ricky Rowe, and the dad says, "You First Baptist or Second Baptist?" Nick Nolte says, I think he says, "Well, Second Baptist for sure."
And then also Ricky Rowe, like, I can't remember how much it was, but I'll be needing 40,000 in cash. In a gym bag, unmarked bills.
Yeah,
it's a very underrated movie.
Yeah, I know it is, and I love it, and I think it's very true. Even though it's quote fiction, there's so much to it that's true. And one of the underlying elements I love that movie is it's filmed at Case Arena in Frankfurt. God, I love that gym. We used to play Frankfurt when I was in Covington, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. We always played them, and I love that arena. And
the movie did such a great job. It's a huge arena anyhow, but making it even look even bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
And hot dogs.
The hot dogs. I love that name. I love it. Still, my favorite's the Pine Village Pine Knots. Or the what's one of my other the Epsom salts.
Yeah, what is it? Du Bois Jeeps.
Yeah, the Du Bois Jeeps. I love those old nicknames, you know, of the
Yeah.
schools that, you know, pre-consolidation. There were so many great ones. And so you fall in the tournament this year, any?
You know, I did a bracket today. I noticed that you joined in on the bracket that I shared.
Yeah.
It's going to be. I mean, who am I? Who am I kidding? I'm going to watch every minute of it because it's all going to
Yeah.
be in Indiana.
Yeah. I know. And it's a shame. I think Purdue's the only squad from Indiana in there, right?
Yeah,
No Notre Dame, no Butler, no Evansville, no IU, no IUPU, Fort Wayne. I mean, what a shame.
very much so. And and you lose at Indiana University. You lose what they lose 7 in a row at the end of the season, 6 in a row, 7 in a row.
Yes.
But you start that losing streak at the point in time where you kind of know that they're leaning toward have everything in Indiana, and you may possibly get to play at home for an NCAA tournament game.
I know. You know, when they were sitting at 7-7, I thought things were looking pretty good. I looked at the schedule and I said, if they can get 3 out of their last 5, get the 7th or 8th seed, win one game in the tournament, and they'll get a bid. I thought it was looking like a shoe in. And then just the roof caved in.
And man, you didn't have to be really much better than that because 9 teams made it in.
I know. God, Billy, they couldn't shoot, as my grandpa used to say, a broadside of a barn. Yeah.
Mine would say the bright side of a barn, but same gist.
Yeah. Same gist. God, they were just horrible shooting and turnovers. And oh, it's so disheartening because, you know, my favorite team of all time. I don't know if you can, I got to show you this, my belt buckle. Can you see that?
A little bit over. Yes.
Yeah, it's a 76 Indiana Hoosier belt buckle. It's got everybody's name on the back and oh, I love it. I wear this belt buckle a lot.
That's kind of a lost art also is belt buckles.
I know. And even the belts and stuff, and now you can't see it, but it's red.
I think I you know, on social media, I think I'd seen that before. And shoot, I think the belt that I have on now clicks. It looks like it has holes on it, but it clicks.
Is it a 76 Hoosier belt?
Oh no, it's not. You've got
okay.
one. You've got one in a million there. Now, bringing that one of your favorite teams. Do you think Gonzaga will go all the way through undefeated?
No.
I think you may have I think you may have hit mute. I can't unmute you there. There we go.
I think they're a great team. I just don't think the quality of competition they played through the year is going to match up in the tournament, even though, you know, they've beat Iowa, Virginia, and I can't remember the other team in their region, 2, 3, and 4 teams. They've beat all 3 of them this year. But I just don't see them beating either Iowa or Virginia or Kansas. That's the third one, Kansas.
I've already said if they win, it's an asterisk.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want them to get that Hoosiers record.
That's very Homerish of me.
I know. Who'd you pick?
I've watched them enough down here. I've got U of H.
Oh, you picked the Cougars?
Yeah. I mean, they have a, you know, I've watched them play and, you know, of course, now what Kelvin Sampson did back there at IU that he got them all in trouble for is legal.
Yeah.
But you can't make up an excuse for that. But they look a really, really good ball club.
I agree. And the only reason I don't have them winning it all is because they're in the same bracket as Illinois. And I picked Illinois to win it all.
You know, when I was making it's interesting on, you know, this is probably the first year, although I did go with my heart a little bit on Purdue.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of fun to do a tournament without your favorite teams in it.
Yeah. Where'd you go to college?
I went to Indiana State University.
Oh, you're a Sycamore. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spent 4 years in the Haute, Terre
Yeah.
Haute,
Terre Haute.
and man, they went backwards today. They hired a NAIA Division II school head coach today.
For basketball?
Yep, they Greg Lansing. They said, okay, we're not going to renew your contract, and I apologize to the guy who took over today, but I don't even know his name.
Wow. Wow. I hadn't heard that. Did Lansing resign or did they fire him?
They basically said they're not going to, offer or renegotiate or redo or, offer a new contract. And Lansing is a really great guy.
Yeah. Indiana State's they've hit some hard times.
It's really sad. They never really grasped. They didn't give Bill Hodges a chance, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you still won 20 games after Larry Bird left. Come on. I mean,
I know. I still watch that 79 game, Michigan State and Indiana State, about once a month. I watch that. It's one of my favorites. It's a classic.
But my favorite is my favorite though is your belt buckle, because I know the outcome.
Well, how'd they do when you were there? I don't recall how they did in the late 80s.
And I think we won 10 games in 4 years.
Really? Oh,
it was let's see, Coach Green was there, who played under Howard Sharp, Ron Green.
Yeah.
And then Tate's Locke came in, who was allegedly what we were talking about earlier. The movie Blue Chips was loosely based upon.
Yep, on Tate's.
Yeah.
He says it was entirely based on him.
I love that there was a caption I found, a newspaper caption. It said, I cheated.
Yeah.
I didn't like losing.
I think you posted that. I saw that too.
Yes. I mean, it's like, the guy was honest. I was sick of losing, just like, Bobby Knight's halftime speech that's out there on YouTube and out there in internet land.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he looked around, he saw the landscape, and he said, you know what? When Rome do as the Romans do.
Yep. The only thing is he got his head got caught with his hand in the cookie jar.
Yes, he certainly did. He most certainly did, man.
But when you're at a Division I school though in Indiana, there's just got to be a way that you're contending for whatever conference you're in every year. It's just got to be a way. Do you agree?
I know. Well, you know what? Mike Davis's team's still playing. I think he's right here. He's in Houston. He's at Texas Southern.
Yep. And I think this is like his 5th or 6th year in a row, I think. I may be wrong.
Yeah. Well, they've qualified, I know, quite a few times the last few years. But then who after Mike Davis? Was it Crean after Davis?
Davis and then Sampson.
Oh, that's right. Sampson. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after Sampson, it was Dockage for a game.
Yeah.
Do you listen to Dan's show?
I listened to parts of it. Yeah. Yeah. You interviewed him, didn't you?
You know what? I did. And but I don't know why people, I think it's the same people just don't want to be told what to do that don't like him. I'm not sure. I don't know what the big deal is. He's really nice.
I like him. I like him a lot. And I like Bill Walton a lot too. Yeah. That might because I like the Grateful Dead, but I like Bill Walton. I think he's got some good insight, some good commentary. My stepmom hates Dockage, and I don't understand why. She still lives in Covington. She's like, I'm not going to listen to the game that Dockage is announcing.
I just don't. I think he gets a bad rap. I don't understand. And he gets and he's just honest. Can't be mad at a guy for being honest.
I know exactly.
And then he was a part of that team in the 1980 Final Four where his teammate missed, both of the free throws at the end, which would have beat New Albany.
Yes, I remember. I've seen clips of that.
It's funny though, because I asked him, I said, let's say your teammate hits both those shots and you have to play broader pool in the night game. What happens? He says he goes off for 32 and is the MVP.
That's so funny. That's confidence, right?
Yeah. And Walton though, it's kind of like you and I here playing off of each other. The guy who has to play off of Walton It's just,
Schumann. Yeah.
yeah. It's you haven't been there, have you? And the guy's like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, I have. No, you haven't. No, you haven't, or you wouldn't have given me the answer that you did. Oh, the guy shoots for a 3. That's 3 in a row.
And here we are, the Conference of Champions.
John Wooden.
Yeah. When I moved to California my sophomore year, so keep in mind, I followed the Hoosiers in 74, 75, 76. And I went to St. Louis for, the first UCLA Indiana game in 76. And so the next year I moved to California and I get to know the head scorekeeper at UCLA. So I went to all the UCLA games for the next 3 years. So that's quite a trip. I went from the Hoosiers to the Bruins.
Was Coach Wooden there one more year while you were there?
No, it was Bartow's first year.
Murray Bartow?
Gene Bartow.
Gene Bartow. Murray was his son. Sorry about
Yeah.
that.
But I met Bartow many times. And then later Larry Farmer came in. And a small world story, when I was teaching overseas, every school I taught at, I was a high school basketball coach. So I was teaching the international school in Kuwait, and Larry Farmer was the coach of the national Kuwaiti team.
Tell me more about that.
Well, I got to, hang out with Larry and have lunch and, talk hoops with him and, find out about all sorts of good UCLA stories when he was there. Just a real humble guy, real nice guy. Then I think he went on and coached somewhere like Western Michigan. I think he's still there.
So to me, it looked like you had a pretty decent high school basketball career in California. Were you offered scholarships? Where did you go to school?
Oh, no. The whole focus on our team was Chip. I mean, when, leading scorer in the city, keep in mind, without the 3-point line, he's scoring 30 points a game. And we went, this was LA City 4A. So all the attention was on him. Now I did play NAIA at UC San Diego. So I did get to play there a couple of years. Then my sophomore year, I blew out my ligaments. So, I got to play small time college ball. Billy, it's just a whole different level when you're a high school player and then you jump to that next level. It's a lot harder than people think.
Well, I can just imagine, but how was basketball set up? Because it was still single class in Indiana. So how was basketball set up in the state of California, high school basketball?
It was by division, 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A. You had the big schools, the small schools. We were big school. We were playing the creme de la creme, like Crenshaw High School and Dorsey High School, and Chip would just light it up game after game. We went 17-3, and we were ranked as high as number 3 in the city. So we had a great team, and we were a big team. Big team. We went 6'6", 6'5", 6'4". I was a guard, and I was 6'3".
How were the playoffs set up compared to the state of Indiana?
Well, they had leagues, and then they seeded, like the number 1 team, the Western League, would play the number 4 team in the Marine League. So I think they had 8 different leagues, but we got upset in the first game of the playoffs on the last second shot.
Did you play any other sports besides basketball?
Well, in Indiana, I did. I played baseball and football and cross country, like most kids do in small towns, right?
Oh, of course. And was football 11-man football?
Yeah.
Some people talk about 8-man football, which still kind of my head explodes trying to think about that.
Yeah, but remember, this was junior high. It was 7th, 8th grade, and then the 9th grade just concentrated on basketball and ran cross country.
What were some of your favorite baseball teams growing up?
Well, my grandpa always took me to Cubs games, Cardinals games, and Reds games. So we kind of split our loyalty because of where we were in Covington. It was almost an equidistant drive between all those places. So it was great being able to follow all those teams. But my loyalty is probably more at the Cardinals than anything. Really love the Cardinals. What about you?
Oh, being raised in Indianapolis, my grandfather took me to Indianapolis Indians games, which were the AAA
The
ball club for the
Indians.
Cincinnati. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're the AAA ball club for the Cincinnati Reds for years until they changed to the Expos, and I think to the Brewers, and now I think they're with the Pirates. But
Okay.
the Big
Well,
Red Machine would come to town, and both 75 and 76 Big Red Machine came to town
oh,
for exhibition games. So
greatest teams ever. Some of the greatest teams. Well, we used to cross the Wabash quite often, go into Danville and watch the Danville Dodgers. We were a
ah,
single A team. We go to the small little stadium in the summer, and $2 gets you in the game. You have a bunch of popcorn. You watch some, single A baseball.
I was happy that in '90 the Cincinnati Reds went wire to wire. So and I'm happy that the Indianapolis Colts won a Super Bowl. I don't know if I'll see the Reds win another World Series or the Colts win another Super Bowl championship.
I hear you there. Although the Reds might have a decent team this year.
Oh man, they gave up the Cy Young winner.
I know. They
That
still got
just
some youth though. I'll tell you
yeah.
what. I'll tell you what broke my heart is when the Astros, all that cheating stuff broke out. It just took a knife to us because when we first moved here, the Astros were terrible, but yet we followed these guys. How they developed and still went to the games, and it was great when you first follow a team and they suck, and then later, they become champs. And then you find out about this whole pitching, cheating thing. Also, what hurt more is AJ Hinch's daughters went to my school.
Oh no, really?
And one of them was in my class. So, but
Oh
this,
man.
I know. I never met AJ, but I felt like I knew the family and I knew mom and so when that happened, you feel cheated. I felt for the girls.
No pun intended, right?
Yeah, exactly. I felt for the girls.
Man, that's
So
pretty
he got
cool.
hired by Detroit, right?
Well, yeah, but they'll probably lose 100 games like they do every year, won't they?
That must be tough being a team. When you're 1 week into the season, you're already out of the pennant race.
Exactly. And there's a lot of, if you were a Cub fan, you saw that year after year for a while.
Yeah, you must have been stoked when the Cubs. Well, you're not a Cubs fan, but when the Cubs won it a few years back, that was a miracle.
It's really, I enjoyed watching the Astros, just like let's go back to that. Because, I wasn't in Indianapolis when, the Indianapolis made their Super Bowl run in 2007.
Yeah,
So it was fun, living here in Houston. And we're probably 45 miles apart, but it was fun watching the community and watching, it was fun watching them. And I was excited when they won the World Series, and just like you said, just with the
well, it was also during Harvey, so it rallied the community. It was very similar to Drew Brees and Katrina. How a city rallied around a team and how the team brought the community together. And they're all such great guys because they all, they give back to the community and they're all very humble. I mean, Bregman and Jose and Correa, all those guys are good guys. They don't get any off the field shenanigans or stuff like that. So I was very surprised when all that went down. When did you move to Houston?
1997 or 1998, one of
Oh
those.
wow, you're a Houstonian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always told people back home, there's, the only difference between Houston and Indianapolis or the state of Indiana is we got 5 seasons instead of you having 4. And they're like, what do you mean? I said, spring, summer, hell, fall, and winter.
So listen, how'd you feel about your alma mater closing?
Man, that was sad.
Yeah, that's good.
You can see up over here. There we go. That that's a replica of the basketball court that at Broderpool. And right below that was the team I was on in 85, 86. We went undefeated at 26-0 before we got beat by Jeff George and Warren Central in the regional finals in 86.
Regional finals.
Yeah.
Now, didn't George Hill go to Broad Ripple also?
Yes. My freshman year in high school, his mother was a classmate. She was a senior. I was a freshman,
Okay.
but he went to Broad Ripple and had I think he ended up scoring his senior year 35 or 36 points a game. He was on the Indiana All-Star team. Very good guy. Very good guy.
So what did they do at the school now? Is it a middle school, an elementary school?
They have thought about having it for their a soccer stadium. They've thought about turning it into condos. There's some contractual stuff that they got to work out. In my opinion, it's probably just sitting there now, just collecting dust. I think it may have been, if I'm not mistaken, a childcare center or something like that for a little while in the past couple of years. But
so where did they go? Where did the kids go?
well, there used to be so many public schools in Indianapolis, and now they're down to, just a handful.
Yeah.
There used to be Marshall, Northwest, Attucks, Broad Ripple, Washington, and I think Northwest is closed now. I think Broad Ripple is closed. Washington was on the verge.
So where do Broad Ripple kids feed into now?
I have no clue, man.
Scattered about.
And we're literally 4 miles from North Central High School.
Okay.
So we're from the very on the border from a city school to a county school.
Yeah.
But they had a great basketball tradition. I'm a homer.
Oh, of course. I mean, that's what it's all about. You got to be loyal to your Rockets. I'm still loyal to my Trojans all these years. And then, I didn't even play there like in 11th and 12th grade. But, when you grow up in a small town like that, things stick with you, community and roots. And my dad still lives there. My stepmom's there. My dad played on the team in the 50s. And then my mom was classmates with Al Harden. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He's an Indiana Basketball Hall of Famer.
From is his son Roger?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. His son Roger was Mr. Basketball.
Yes. And then didn't he wasn't he like start AAU, start tennis shoe contracts or something?
Al Harden was one of the original Converse guys.
Okay.
Yes, he was the man for Converse, and he'd load up Covington with Converse shoes, So he always wore those Chuck Taylors, and then the Early Bird got his Converse shoes out there. But Al is a Covington legend because in the 1960 Covington went to the semi-state. They were one game away from the Final Four. Who
was coaching then?
God, I can't remember.
Was Al Tucker there at that time?
I can't recall. You know what? I can look it up right now. I got the book right here. But 1960, they got to semi-state, and that'd been the first time in 15 years because in 45 they got there with Virgil Sweet.
Oh yes, another Valparaiso guy.
Yes, Valpo has some of those Covington connections.
Yeah, and he's got that that free throw thing that worked.
Yes. I'll look right here what who was the coach in 1960. It was Coach Bill Miller.
Okay.
Coach Bill Miller was the coach then. And they lost to East Chicago, Washington on March 12th, 1960, 77-51.
And not too shabby of a team to lose to.
Oh, there's another great high school team. I remember when I was a kid and we used to go to the regionals at Mackey. And ECW would play there, the Senators, and I always got a trip out of their cheerleaders. They're the Tornadoes. They do this, woo, woo. The Tornado Girls.
Man, that area up there, man, they would just beat the living hell out of each other, and they should have so many more state championships. But when you're in a sectional or a region like that,
well, the sectional could, would be the state championship in some respects.
Exactly.
How many teams they had there. Now, I'd been long gone from Indiana before they stopped the class system. I wasn't even aware about it for maybe 5 or 6 years after that. And I tell you, it's a topic on that high school thread. I'm tired of talking about it. Somebody brings it up once a month or once every 2 weeks. It's like, dude, we've already talked about this ad nauseum.
Well, the next new thing is, well, you got that, you got Luke Brown, and now you're going to have the Indiana University coaching hire.
And Luke Brown, oh my God, for the last
guy,
3
man.
years. Blackford was 0-24 just about 4 years ago. I think 3 or 4 years ago, they were 0-24. And, the excitement that kid's brought to the community is just, I think, outstanding, phenomenal. To me, that's what Hoosier Hysteria is all about.
And it'd be nice to see them win the state championship, especially for Coach Hoover.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they're playing Blackhawk.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So what do you think about this whole private school, parochial school thing? Because, here in Texas, the parochial schools have their own conference. And the private schools do too.
Well, in Indianapolis, when I went to Broad, we played Chittard.
Yeah.
We played Cathedral.
Yeah.
There was Ritter. There was, there's all kinds of private and parochial schools. And they get to recruit. They get to give scholarships. The team that came out of Broad Ripple was based upon where you lived. So,
yes.
I'm not it doesn't bother me because we've been at the other end of the stick where we beat those kind of schools.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you did your best to get the best team, but we still beat you with a public school program.
Yeah, I got it.
But also too, though, it's like class basketball. Just because a school has 4,000, 2,000 or 1,000 boys doesn't mean they're going to be any better with someone who has 200 boys.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the whole private thing, I mean, the school is always a thorn in our side with Central Catholic. It's in every year, you knew that Central Catholic was loaded every single year. That was the way it was back in the 70s. And that's the way it is today, and they still got good players. I don't know if they recruit or not. I have no proof of that whatsoever, but it just always seemed, how does a school that small year after year have such good teams? Because you know how small schools are, they're cyclical. You're going to have some bad years. But schools like Central Catholic never have any bad years.
Now, you must have played. Did you guys play them when you were before moving to California?
Yeah.
Okay. You probably played against Dave Warland then.
Well, I remember I was only in 7th, 8th, and 9th grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if he was on the team.
But look at Dave Warland went to Central Catholic, and they won the sectional, I think, in 1973.
Yeah.
The previous 30 years to 1973, it was Lafayette Jeff.
Oh, yeah, because they won it 29 years in a row.
So even if Central Catholic, you got a beef against Central Catholic, don't you?
Yeah. Hey, Covington beat him last year in the sectional, so that was good. So I was finally.
Did Cooper Neese go to Covington?
What's that?
Did Cooper Neese go to Covington or Cloverdale?
No, Cloverdale. He went to Cloverdale.
I made the mistake of interviewing somebody the other day from the Madison Cubs from Madison, Indiana. And I a couple of years ago, I accidentally said Anderson Madison. And oh my gosh, you thought I was man.
You hick.
Yeah. So I apologize to Cloverdale and Covington. Sorry about that.
Yeah. What also irked me when I went to Covington is every year that if we won sectional, of course, we were always put in the Lafayette Jeff section and regional. And every year we'd play Lafayette Jeff. And they were just always outmanned us, bigger. But I love going to that gym. God, I love that Marion Crawley Center.
Did you ever play at Hinkle?
No, but I've been there many, many, many a time. It's a mecca, isn't it, Billy? It's a mecca. God, those gyms, Hinkle. I remember going there, I watched the Indiana All-Star game when Benson was a high school All-Star. So I'm not sure what year that would have been, 73?
Yeah.
72. My dad used to take me to games at Ankle. My dad played college ball,
Oh, where do you play college ball at?
Florida State.
Really?
Yeah, you actually sent me
I
some
did.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
So
who did he? There was a couple guys that he played with that.
he played with Burt Reynolds. That
Wow.
was that was his college roommate.
Are you
But Burt,
serious?
yeah, but Burt actually played football.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And then what's his face? The former Indiana coach Lee Corso went to
Yeah,
Florida
yeah.
State.
He was friends with Lee Corso too.
Wow. What did your dad do for a living?
Well, he's still a lawyer, and he was the prosecuting attorney in Fountain County, Indiana, for many years, and now he's just an attorney there.
A good host.
Williams and Williams Attorneys at Law.
A good host would have remembered you told me that earlier in the program.
Oh, we hadn't talked about it. We just did it over Facebook, buddy.
This is the same guy who got Cloverdale and Covington mixed up. Sorry.
Yeah, the Clovers and the Trojans. Exactly.
That's pretty cool. So I bet you he's got some. Does he have some stories about Bert? We probably can't tell him.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He's got some stories about Bert.
How
Can't
old
talk
is he?
about him. Can't talk about him over the air though.
How old is he?
He's just turned 85. Yeah, he played on the 51, 52, 52, 53 teams, and he's 6'8".
Oh wow.
So he was one of the first D1 players recruited out of Fountain County.
Okay, so when did you want to be a teacher? Where did you get your degree? Where did you get your degree from? And tell us your road on teaching and how you get to 45 miles from where I'm at right now in my studio.
Well, I went to UCSD, as I told you, and I played basketball a couple of years there, but I majored in journalism. And then after I graduated, just kind of floundered a little bit, did some work for the LA Times, worked as a park ranger at the Will Rogers State Park, and journalism just wasn't giving me the income I needed. So I had a buddy who was teaching, and he was coaching. And he said, listen, if you teach, you can also coach basketball. And just the light went off. That sounds fantastic. So I went back to school. I went to USC, got my teaching credential, and got placed in the hood in the inner city for 3 years. And after 3 years, I said, man, this is tough. And my USC counselor told me about international teaching. So I signed up to go teach internationally in 1991, and I was at it till 2012. So I moved back here. And every international school I went to, Billy, I got to coach. I was a basketball coach.
So take me through this. Take me through the steps of what countries you've coached in.
I coached in Bogota, Colombia, and Colegio Nueva Granada. My team got to the city championship game. We played in an arena of 4,000 people. It's fantastic. We lost. Then I coached in Kuwait, Universal American School in Kuwait, and that's where I met Larry Farmer. I got a great picture of me and Larry right here, hanging out. And then I moved to, yeah. I don't know if you can see it. See, how do I get you to see it?
There you go. There you go. Right there. Ah.
You see it?
Yeah.
There's Larry right in the middle. Me and Larry.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was great hanging out with him. And then I moved to Manila, and I was there for 7 years, and I coached at the International School in Manila, and they love their basketball in the Philippines. I mean, basketball is the number one sport there. It's huge. So coached there and met my wife there. And then we moved to Rome, and I coached some minor league basketball. I say minor league, elementary school basketball. I moved down from JV varsity level to the elementary level. And then I moved to Bangkok and coached there for many years. And then we moved back here, and I coached at John Cooper School.
Man, you are, I'm going to lose a lot of people here by saying this, but you are Ricky Nelson, true traveling man.
That's right. Travel around the world. It was a great lifestyle, Billy. I mean, it was, free, tax-free salary, free housing. Of course, the people you meet from, all around the world and all around the States. And I was coaching basketball to top it off. So then you have vacations and you can travel to China, you can travel to, Vietnam, you can, I was living in Italy, I traveled everywhere. So there's a lot of opportunities to travel as well as, teach and coach basketball.
Plus you found your wife.
Found my wife and two kids.
How long have you guys, how long have you guys been married?
21 years.
Wow.
Yeah. If she was here, she'd know exactly. She'd be saying something right now. I knew the exact year, but I always had the nickname Mr. Indiana. When I first moved to California, my sophomore year, the coach said, he goes, we already got the team all set. We're all, because those guys have been playing together since second and third grade. It was a big city school, and here comes this, guy from the cornfields of Indiana. So the first practice, I'm shooting stuff, and then I throw a dunk down over somebody, and the coach pulls me over. He goes, "Where are you from?" I go, "Indiana, sir." And he goes, "You're on the team."
Wow. How tall are you, Marshall?
6'3". So that was a good story. So, Indiana has its advantages, buddy, especially when you play ball.
Yeah, I've finally gotten my wife and our neighbors and our good friends that, anytime now I ask the question of, oh, where's she from or where's he from? They'll just look at me and go, Indiana.
Yeah. Is that where Meryl's from?
Yes. No. She was born and raised in Mexico City.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she's yeah. And of course, spent a lot of time here in Houston, and her mom and dad passed away. Her mom in 2007, her dad in 2005. But he worked for Ford Motor Company, so that they traveled a lot too. So.
Okay. And your kid went to Mady Creek? Your son?
Yes, Maid Creek, both. My daughter Taylor and my son Andy. My daughter Taylor is just getting ready to graduate from Sam Houston.
Oh, okay. She's a Bearcat.
She's a Bearcat.
All right.
So, and how old are your kids?
My son's a senior. He's graduating. He's been online all year. He hasn't actually stepped foot in the school building. And my daughter's in 7th grade, and we're spending all of her college tuition on club volleyball.
I noticed. I didn't notice the spending, but I did notice the volleyball.
Yeah.
And does your son have hops like you did?
You know what, Billy? He opted out of basketball his junior year. He just didn't have the motivation or the drive. And I told him, I said, listen, if you're not enjoying it, and if you're not going to put into time, I said, you can't show up in August without putting some time in the summer to play ball. So it was okay. I mean, it was disappointing because, I liked watching him play, but now, now I'm into volleyball.
So you've been gone long enough that, when's the last time you've been back to Indiana?
Oh, geez, Billy. 1978, my junior year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But we're heading back this summer. It's going to be a big old party, big old reunion. It's not that I haven't wanted to go back. It's just, been overseas teaching, and, my sister lives here now. She lives in Kingwood, and my cousin's here. She's downtown, and my mom and my aunt and uncle, they come here to see us. So, but my dad still lives in Indiana, and one of my dear friends is an assistant coach for the Covington team, Troy Beaver. So that's how I keep up with the Trojans. I have a inside scoop to the bench, get all the strategy. Now, here's an interesting story. What do you think about Busick? He was the coach at Zionsville, 4A school. He moved to Covington to coach a 1A school. That's an unusual move, isn't it?
Better chance at 1A to win a state championship than it is to be under the maybe he was under the spotlight too much in Zionsville.
I don't know. it was just interesting. I tell you, I was blown away when I heard that. I said, why would a 4A coach, and he was very successful at Zionsville too, go to 1A? There's another catch there. His son's also a freshman, and his son was on the varsity this year. So maybe that might have something to do with it too.
You know, there are so many 6 degrees of separation stories. You know, one of the kids that play for Zionsville, and I actually have a Zionsville book here.
Oh, unbelievable.
By Kermit Paddock. Oh, I got my supplies. Hold on.
Yeah.
I got your Indiana All-Star memories here. It's got all the Indiana All-Star games.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. When I first started this, I had one of these books.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get the page folded enough to get it on the scanner.
Yeah.
So I got a pair of scissors out, and you would have thought that I was shooting somebody. My wife said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I got another one of these books."
Yeah. Blasphemy.
No, you don't cut books.
Yeah. Blasphemy. That's a great book to have. Hey, have you ever been to the Hall of Fame in Newcastle?
Yes, back in 2013, and also this past summer, but you know, of course, they got it all locked up.
Yeah, that's definitely on my bucket list when we go back.
Oh, you've got to go to the Hoosier Gym.
Oh yeah, I know. That's a must.
You've got to go there. They'll give you a personal tour. You'll be able to shoot some shots. You have to go there.
Got to go to Knightstown.
Yes. And did you ever go to the 500 while you lived in Indiana?
Oh, you betcha. Did that several times. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get together with Mr. Dale White, and we're going to go to our old stomping grounds, and we're going to go play a game of horse.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very
and
cool.
There was also another guy that played on Dale's team that you may have heard of, and he coached at Bar Reeve for 10, 12 years, Brian Hughes.
Yes, I've heard that name. Yes.
Yeah. Brian also played at Covington when I was there. Good buddy of mine. And he won a state championship at Bar Reeve.
Bar Reeve is a hotbed for basketball.
What is it in the water there? I mean, it's just year in and year out. These Amish dudes are hooping, man.
You got Bar Reeve, you got Lagodi, you got
Lagodi.
Yeah, Jack Butcher Ball.
There's tradition. I remember in '75 when they got to the final. They were in the Final Four, Lagodi. And that was with no class. No class basketball. Little Lagodi, the Lions.
That brings up a great movie quote from Rhonda Dangerfield in Back to School. She said, well, let's go out Friday. No, I have class. How about Saturday? No, I have class. He says, well, why don't you call me when you have no class at all? And these Southern Indiana basketball coaches and basketball fans are true diehard fans.
Oh, yeah. I can tell that from the website.
Man. True. Yeah. And how do you enjoy that though? How do you enjoy the, besides the repetitive questions and comments, I enjoy the Indiana High School basketball page.
Are you kidding? I love it. It's fantastic. Yeah. And it's informative. It's entertaining. It's funny. It's historical. I mean, you throw in all those adjectives. It's everything I love about it. I mean, I enjoy your friend, Sean Martin. Sean Martin, yeah, he's a Hornet, and I love his stuff that he posts on there. And there's this guy that always posts these deep philosophical Manfred Schultz. Manfred's always got something to say. And they're long posts, but they're meaningful.
And some people don't like this, but then there's me who'll slap a picture on and people are going, oh, it'd be neat to know who that is.
Yeah, you always get roasted for that.
But you know what?
Yeah.
Normally within the first couple minutes, someone will slap the name on there. I'm like, there you go. See?
There you go.
Follow along. If you know the names in the game, don't.
Or they'll say, did Billy cut that out of a book? Did he cut up a book for that?
I'm going to have to edit that out, aren't I?
Blasphemy.
How are you folding that book to get it on the scanner? Don't worry about it.
Well, when I posted stuff about Pally High, that's when I first met you, and you sent me photos of our team, which was known as the Champagne Kids.
So you're wanting to know where I got this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So, a lot of people are like, oh, just Google it. Well, there's a lot of things that, you can Google paint and it may come up with Sherman and Williams. But, if you want to know who invented paint or, when with paint first used, you got to go a little deeper. So there's, man, I'm going to cut my nose off, spite my face.
Yeah.
Ancestry.com.
Yeah.
People are like, man, I found out I'm Irish. I found out my uncle was this, my grandfather was that. No, I found pictures of Marshall Williams at his high school in California.
Wow. That's good, because you sent me those photos. They were from our yearbook.
Yeah, exactly. Because they have you can also go to classmates.com.
Exactly. That's what
it's kind of a pain in the butt, but you can screenshot some stuff out of yearbooks.
Yeah.
So there's where a lot of my research comes from. Newspapers.com.
Yeah.
Newspapers.com really didn't become quite a hit until the past, maybe 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
I had that before it got real popular, and you can, find a lot of goodies on that. And also too, it's how you search. It's how you look it up. And, there'll be times and there'll be times where, I've spent quite a bit of time, but it is fun. I love someone coming back like you. I love that the relationship and the friendship that we've got. And I loved finding those photos for you.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I loved it.
I
know there was none of me because I was playing behind Chip. He didn't come out very often.
You were in the team photo now.
I was in the team photo. Yes, exactly.
But there's nothing more fun than finding something for some. I mean, that's why I do the podcasts, and just like Gene Bumper Tormolin, who played at Holland High School, played at Tennessee, 10 NBA championship rings on his fingers from being a scout or assistant coach in the NBA. He passed away 2 years ago, but now there's an interview out there that his grandkids, his great grandkids, his kids can hear his voice.
Yeah, well,
so
basketball is in my blood, and I know it's in your blood. It's like when my son didn't want to play anymore, I got to tell you, that hurt a little bit. I was like, but as my wife said, she goes, it's got to be his passion, not yours.
Exactly. And he'll have other passions that will make him successful in life.
Did you your son's name's Andy?
Yes.
Did he play? Did he play any sports?
Andrew is autistic.
Okay.
He loves art. He's studying art. We're trying to get him into a program at Texas A&M. It's a new autistic program that they're going to start and try.
Fantastic. Yeah.
And we're going to try to get him in on that. Yeah,
good.
I will give you a little special story about Andy. You wouldn't know that Andy was autistic. You just think he was very shy.
Yeah.
So it's Andrew Robert Montgomery Powell. Laugh it up over there, man, because Bobby sent him autographed balls.
No.
Yes. Bobby has sent him autographed photos, autographed books.
Oh my God.
So wow. I know Coach Knight was probably sick of me sending him stuff and sick of sending stuff back to me, but but as a dad and as a big Bobby Knight fan.
Yeah. Speaks volumes about his heart too, People have
it does.
Perception of him. But underneath that exterior, you got a big heart there for Bobby. Yeah. He's got a big heart.
But look at Dad here. I'm a huge Bobby Knight fan. I've named my son Andrew Robert Montgomery Powell. I can't wait to get to the mailbox to get a Social Security card. Oh man, this is gonna be cool looking. Let me open this up, and it just says Andrew Robert.
What's your daughter's full name?
I got the middle names in the family. So Taylor is the middle name is Presley.
Taylor Presley.
And
Elvis?
huge Elvis fan. Matter of fact, let me show you another one of my books.
All right.
I know you can't see very well on that screen, but this is the Billboard.
What's it called?
It's called the Billboard
okay.
Top 40 Hits.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
mean, you name the band or the group, and I can tell you where it charted and everything else.
Okay. What is she majoring in at Sam Houston?
She wants to be a corner.
Oh, wow.
Or
That's
a
different.
What
forensic scientist?
Yes. So she's doing that at, like I said, Sam Houston, then she'll come back down here to finish.
And you said she lives on campus?
Well, she lives just off campus.
Okay.
And man, I'm not disappointed, but she's gotten into a job without letting everybody know too many details. She's gotten into a job where I got into, and if you get too deep in it, it's going to be hard to get out of it without taking a pay cut or whatever. And I'm like, I've been in retail. I've been in retail all my life, and get out while you got a chance. And like we were talking about with your son, find something that you're passionate about and be good at that.
Do you get up this way to visit her, or you drive by this way?
Oh no, she still lives with her mother, who actually is just a couple miles from the house.
Okay.
So but in fairy tale world, all the exes and all that kind of stuff get along, but Branch, as in like Branch McCracken. That's my wife's first name is Branch. Most people are like, what was her name again? I said Branch, like is in the tree limb.
Yeah.
But she has two of her own, and they're my grandkids too. We have two granddaughters, but a step, but they're once you get rolled into all that kind of stuff, family's family.
How old are they?
4 and 1.5.
Okay, just starting.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, speaking of IU, I was the first person in my family not to go to IU, and it broke my grandma. I broke my grandma's heart. She was just devastated.
Wow.
Yeah. Also, she was a huge Bobby Knight fan too.
We were poorer than dirt. Dirt had more money than we did. So I was lucky enough to get an academic scholarship that paid for the tuition at Indiana State University. And, I got out with a history degree within 4 years. Did
you live on campus?
I did at Cromwell Hall there within.
And was the Holman Center there then?
Yes, it was. Beautiful place in the 90s. The games were free.
Yeah.
And, we went to the games to go see other teams play. We'd go see Hersey Hawkins play. We'd go, we had, Eddie Bird lived, I think a couple floors down from us, Larry's brother.
Was he on the team then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, let me tell you a real quick story. You got time?
Yeah, sure.
One of my favorite interviews was with Ron Cheatham, who played basketball in Paris, Illinois.
Yeah.
He was a Paris Tiger. So he came and played at Indiana State University, and he was on the same team as Eddie Bird. So Ron tells me that they were at the pool at the Boston Connection, which was Larry's hotel. And Larry, this was during off season. Larry told Eddie, "Get in my wallet and get some money and go get me some dip." So Ron and Eddie went out and went down to the gas station or whatever there in Terre Haute and got some dip or chew or whatever, came back and tossed it over to Larry at the pool. And it was probably a couple minutes that they'd been back and they'd gotten back into the pool. And Larry goes, "Wait, hey, where's my change?" To Eddie. I mean, you're a multi-millionaire Boston Celtic. Where's my change?
You don't let the little bro get away with nothing, right?
I guess not. Marshall, this has been fun. I hope I haven't kept you too long or kept jaw jagging.
That's all right. I should be getting going anyway. Speaking of volleyball, I got to go pick up my daughter. So
Okay,
I'd love to do
that's
it
what.
again sometime. It's
That,
great. You know, it's
yes, we will. Yeah, and I knew that roaming around the house was like, okay, if I get my shoes on here, I could still talk to him. Let me see, where are my keys? I gotta go pick her up.
no, I was actually letting the dog in.
Yeah, I didn't get to see the dog, but I heard him.
Yeah. So
No,
I hope
we
get
need to do
meet
this
you.
again.
Yeah, I want to meet you in person one of these days. So
Well, according to Governor Abbott, it's okay.
yeah, exactly. COVID's gone.
Oh yeah, it is. Let's go to Galveston. We'll meet it there on the beach.
Well, I get my shot on Thursday. All
First?
the yeah, first, and then because I'm going to a stadium here by the house where all the Conroe ISD teachers, the Magnolia ISD teachers, and the private schools in Woodlands all get their shots.
Okay.
And what about you?
Soon.
Soon? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully by summertime we could hook up and
Oh yes.
but we can do this again. I loved it, man. It's finally nice to meet you.
You
I feel
too?
like I know you. And it's really odd in this social media world how you've never met somebody in person. But knowing you for the past year and listening to your posts, listening to your podcasts and your postings, I know you're a hoops brother.
Well, I appreciate that and all the love back.
All right, buddy.
All right, man. Be safe. And we'll
All right.
chat later.
Carpe diem.
All right. You too.
Adios.
All right. Bye-bye.